Hello there my YouTube friends and fans, welcome back to Elden Ring. If you are like me and you are trying to get all legendary talismans in this game in order to get the achievement, or just because it's super fun and it's an accomplishment, you probably have come across this guy here, which I had a really hard time with. I tried this guy like 5-6 times and I was just like, I don't think I can do him because he's basically Godfrey. He is named Godfrey or Froy here, but it's exactly Godfrey that you already fought in his like ghost form kinda. So the same moves, the same boss, everything. But when I was fighting Godfrey, the way I beat the Godfrey in the castle is with the summon, the jellyfish summon, which did a lot of damage to him, and it was super easy to take him down thanks to the jellyfish summon. But now I do not have a summon. You're not allowed to have a summon here. It doesn't give you the option, so it's just you and the boss. And yeah, it can get a little iffy because that guy, even though he's not necessarily one of the hardest bosses or anything, he's, you know, attacks come in really hard, and I have not been able to just kind of figure out his pattern until like this fight here where I think I finally got it. So first of all, the one thing that I realized is really helpful is the swarm of flies. It not only damages him, but it kind of staggers him, where, let's say you want to heal up, or you want to gain some distance, or even want to make a move on him while he is staggered with the swarm of flies, you have that chance. And then the other thing I try to do is just, you know, make sure I block his storms that he sends at you whenever I can with my shield, which is something that I was always really bad at. He always knocked me out with them and got a lot of health off of me because I never really saw them coming because I had my back to him. But this time I was prepared. I kind of, you know, knew when they were coming, and I just tried to keep as much distance from him as I could, especially when I shot the swarm of flies at him, because that's when you're most vulnerable, because you cannot put your shield up and you don't have, you know, any chance to actually just hit him at the same time. So you have to be at a good distance to do that. But if you have, you know, a long enough health bar, you can afford to be hit once in a while as long as you can heal in between, and you have, of course, enough healing potions. And then in this case, you always need to make sure, of course, that you have enough FP flasks as well. And I think I brought like 4 flasks with me into this fight, and that was enough. And then just kind of apply the flies only when you feel it's like the best time, and not when, you know, maybe he's chasing after you and the flies won't hit him. You have to really make sure the flies hit him. And that really worked for me. Like right now, he's just slowly walking and the flies slowly make their way to him. And as soon as he gets hit, you can see how he's now staggered by the flies. He keeps like shaking. And it kind of slows him down a little bit. And then you can just take another approach to send some more flies at him. And it seems like the storm he sends is not affecting the flies most of the time. Sometimes they do, it is, so it's better to actually send the flies to him when he doesn't do the storm, like right here. And it also really looks super funny. And then, yeah, just try to avoid his attacks, which is not that hard if you do not want to rush this. You know, I'm like so many other people, I try to rush boss fights, I want to get it over with, and I make mistakes. You know, I try to be the hero, run in and hit him at the wrong point. And this time I was just telling myself, I really want this talisman. I'm not gonna leave this area until I have this talisman. I can do this. Yeah, it never gets old to see him having these convulsions, right? So at this point, I'm actually not sure if I have enough FP to send enough flies to him, and I am kind of ready to probably just have to fight him with my sword. And but I'm thinking, you know, let's see how far we get here. And as you can see, despite the storm, the flies still got him. So now we're down to less than a third, almost a quarter soon. So I have to tell myself to not hurry here and be patient, even though that can be sometimes a little painful. I just want that talisman so bad. I can smell it, I can taste it. It is so close. I am so glad I'm far away from those swings. And this arena, actually as small as it seems, it gives you actually enough space to roam around and to get away from him. I'm glad that they didn't confine it to the circle down there. That would have been a little iffy. So, yeah, he basically does the storms, then he does the drag, and then he does the big swings with the jump, which they can be super devastating, and I actually did not see that coming. Yeah, I still haven't really learned all of his tactics or moves. I don't know in which order they come. I know what they are, but they still surprise me. And the good thing about the swarm of flies versus, for example, the dragon breath is that you can just make short bursts of it and it's not really slowing you down much, while the dragon breath is putting you into a longer animation, which when he comes charging at you and you're in the middle of the animation, it looks pretty bad for you. With the swarm of flies, you can just shoot little short bursts. You can decide to just do one, and then, you know, if you see him coming at you, do one and run away. And if he doesn't, do another one and another one. So, you know, doing it in short bursts instead of one big burst like that you have with the dragon breath. But, you know, the dragon breath would probably work really well here too. I also like that the swarm of flies doesn't eat up so much FP, but it does do a really good damage, so it's a little bit of a better trade-off. And if you want to know where to get the swarm of flies, it's actually at the Mogwin Palace, and there's plenty of YouTube videos to see how to get to Mogwin Palace. You have to be a little bit far into the game, but you know, until you get there, before that, you don't really actually necessarily need the swarm of flies. It's like at the time you get it, it just kind of like comes at the right time. When you get to the harder bosses and the harder enemies. But if you have the dragon breath, I think you could definitely try it out here too. You just have to be a little bit more careful. And yeah, this fight is way longer than I wanted it to be, but let me tell you, it took a lot of self-control not to run in and just want to smack him. And of course, if you're like a very experienced player, you may not need to do any of this. But if you're like me and you don't usually like boss fights or do a lot of boss fights, you just don't care for them, but you want to beat this boss because you want to get what the boss has, then this kind of approach should work for pretty much everyone. Because you don't have to be like super skilled to do any of this. And all my videos are kind of, you know, more focused towards like unexperienced people, intermediate people, definitely not advanced people. So I knew that I took a big risk here jumping in, but I just couldn't help myself. I'm like, come on, it takes one smack. I know that I can take him down with one smack, but this could be this one time where I choose the wrong time to hit him. Like, I did not see that coming. And it could mean that, you know, all this hard work would have been for nothing. So I want to be very careful to choose the right moment here when I do a charge attack at him. I'm just trying to find out what he's going to do next. So we're going to have to storm. So definitely not the time. And trust me, I've been so close with many bosses and thought, oh yeah, let me just jump in and do that one last hit. And that was the death of me in so many times. There's just one thing that comes at you at that point that you do not see coming and do not anticipate, and it literally destroys everything you did, which can be exceedingly frustrating. Like this thing here, this movement, yeah. I thought I was far enough away, but I wasn't, so I'm like, I'm so done with you. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.